Today we'll be doing a video analysis on Harvard Worldman. For this operational analysis, I examined the registration process at Harvard World Model United Nations. The purpose of this operation is to process arriving delegates, verify their participation, distribute conference materials, and register participants for additional conference activities such as merchandise collection and social activities. Because the conference hosts such a large number of participants within a limited time period, which is 4 days, the registration process must be designed to manage high demand while also maintaining organization and efficiency. Throughout this analysis video, I will analyze the operations using several different methods, such as the process type, the layout type, operational strategy, and the 4 V's framework. I will also evaluate their strengths and weaknesses to determine what could be done better next time around.
So, what is Worldman? Worldman is a conference for people, for students, especially university students, to simulate the United Nations. It has different committees ranging from topics such as drug abuse and big pharma to, for example, international disarmament. So Worldman is usually hosted in conference centers and hosts over 800 people, as you can see in this room. There are different people from across the globe, which means you have to accommodate to their cultures and their habits. So now that you know what Worldman is, which is a huge global experience, how do you register for it? Let's look at it.
To determine the operational analysis further, we must determine the process type, which in this case, it will be classified as a mass service process. Mass services are usually characterized by a high volume of customers who receive relatively standardized services. In this case, the conference must process a very large number of delegates within a very short period of time, and most participants go through the same set of steps during the registration process. For example, delegates typically verify their identity first, collect their conference materials such as badges, receive merchandise, and then register for social events. While the overall process is standardized, there are some variations depending on the delegation size or additional activities, which induces a limited degree of customization. Overall, the high volume and standardized structure make this operation a very clear example of a mass service process.
So the operational system is set up like this. First, you register here, and then you go to the line above and work through the lines to see what you get next. In this system, one person signs up the whole delegation, which is a group of people that travel together for the conference. But there's different stands, for example, for observers and volunteers. But as that one person signs up everyone, they have to adjust to every line.
Next, we'll be looking into the layout type. The registration area uses a functional layout where different stations are responsible for different tasks within the registration process. This can be seen in the panels right here. Rather than processing all the activities in one location, the registration process area is divided into multiple stations or stands. Each registration performs a specific function, such as the identity verification, delegation check-in, merchandise distribution, and social event registration. Delegates move between these stations in a sequence, completing different steps along the way. This layout allows staff members to specialize in specific tasks, which improves efficiency and reduces errors. Additionally, the operation uses multiple lanes and service spots, allowing many delegates to be processed simultaneously. This service helps the operation manage a large number of participants arriving at the conference. Now, we'll be looking into the operation strategy. The operation strategy of the registration process appears to prioritize speed, dependability, and quality. Speed is important in this registration process because there are over 600 delegates who must be processed quickly to avoid long waiting lines. A slow registration process could create frustration for delegates and delay other conference activities such as the opening ceremony, which is right after the registration process. Dependability is also critical in this operation, as delegates must be able to rely on the registration systems to accurately verify their registration and their participation, distribute materials, and provide correct information about conference activities, such as when socials start or when the conference actually starts. Finally, the quality is reflected in the organization of the process and the professionalism of the staff members managing these stations. Ensuring that each participant receives the correct materials and information is essential to maintaining a positive conference experience and ensuring that delegates will return next year. The 4B model provides another way to analyze this whole operation, ranging from volume, variety, variation, and visibility. First, we'll be looking into volume. The volume of this operation is very high, considering that the registration panel deals with over 600 delegates a day within the short time span of 4 hours. This requires the systems to be very efficient and have clear procedures as why the layout type was decided to be in lanes, so that delegates can move from one station to another to optimize time. Secondly, we'll be looking at the variety of the operation. The variety is considerably low. Most participants follow the same registration steps, although there is some variation depending on delegation roles or additional activities. This can be shown by the socials registration line. If a delegate attends the socials, they will follow through to the socials lane, while if they're not, they will end the process after the registration panel or the last step of their registration, such as merchandise. Thirdly, we'll be looking into the variation in demand, which is significant. The registration tends to peak during certain periods, particularly when large group of delegates arrive at the same time. Registration starts at 10 a.m. and ranges until 3 p.m. Most of the busy times are from 12 to 2, considering that most delegates do not wish to wake up early and go to the registration lines, and most delegates do not want to come too late to have some preparation time and lunch before the opening ceremony, which is 2 hours long. The variation in demand can be seen in this diagram. The variation shows that most busy times are 12 to 2 p.m. and with 1 p.m. being the very most busy time, as it is the most allocated slot. Finally, we have visibility. The visibility of this operation is very high. Delegates directly interact with the registration process and can observe how it operates. This means that organization, efficiency, and staff communication have a very direct impact on the participants' experience. For strengths, we have the first main strength, which is that the operation has task specialization, which makes it even more efficient. Each station focuses on a specific task, which allows staff members to perform their responsibilities efficiently and reduce the likelihood of errors, as they're specialized on one task and will not forget that task. Another one of the main strengths to consider is the multi-lane structure, which allows many delegates to be processed at the same time. This increases the capacity of the operation and helps manage the large volume of participants, considering that they can attend different lines at different times. Lastly, this operation also benefits from a clear organization and flow, which guides delegates through the registration process step by step, allowing delegates to properly complete every step before the conference actually starts, avoiding errors later in the process. Despite these strengths, there are also major potential weaknesses, such as one issue being the possibility of bottlenecks at certain stations, particularly those that require more time to process participants, such as the identity verification or merchandise distribution panel. The bottleneck is formed through the issue that there is only one lane open for the registration process, and delegates must complete identity verification before they can attend different lanes, such as the social lane. Further issues in the registration process or the verification process can be seen by the fact that lanyards are handed out in 2 pieces. First, the lanyard itself, and then the identification badges, which must be checked by the delegation and then attached separately before the station can be left. The third weakness is the uneven workload across stations. Some stations may experience significantly higher demand than others, which can lead to longer queues in specific areas. The final weakness is the variation in arrival times. This can create congestion if many delegates arrive simultaneously, which had been discussed further earlier, and it will make it more difficult for staff to manage queues efficiently if delegate arrival times are not managed. First, the conference could implement additional service lanes for high-demand stations, particularly those that typically create bottlenecks, such as the identity verification line. This would help reduce the waiting times and improve the overall flow of the operation, which would ensure that participants get registered and have time to prepare before the conference and allow the conference to start properly on time. Secondly, the operation could introduce better queue management systems, such as designated time slots for registration to help distribute demand more evenly and reduce congestion during peak times. This could be done for delegations and could be sent out in advance, ensuring that delegations who have 10+ delegates arrive at evenly distributed times. To ensure that delegations keep to registration times, security and staff could verify the delegation at the door to ensure that the right delegations get addressed at the right time. This could be done through a prior sent out QR code, which security and staff only must scan to see the delegation is right. These simple yet effective improvements could help the registration process operate more smoothly while maintaining a positive experience for participants, as frustration, restraint, and registration issues and errors get reduced. Now, for the final conclusion, the registration at Harvard World Model United Nations demonstrates how operation management principles can be applied to large-scale events. By analyzing the process type, layout, operation strategy in the 4V model, we can better understand how operations manage high-volume participants in a structured and organized way. While the operation already has several strengths, including task specification and efficiency flow, improvements in capacity management and queue organization could further enhance the performance, ensuring that all delegates leave with a positive experience. Overall, this example of a registration highlights the importance of effective operational design in delivering efficient and reliable services in large international events.